Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Jennifer J, and this is Moving Forward, part 80, if you can believe it, episode 80. And I hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. I really want to get comfortable tonight. I've been feeling a little unwell today, and I set my timer real fast. I've just had a terrible headache, and that sometimes happens to me after I've been traveling. And I just got back from, well, I had a 9-day trip to Kansas, which I think you knew about from my previous episodes. And then I just had a 5-day trip to Dallas. So I've come back and I'm just feeling a little washed out and a little headachy. Anyway, but I wanted to not miss getting a day in because this needs to upload tonight. So I wanted to finish off the end of what we did last time. You remember we were talking about Peter was sinking when he was going to go walk on the water, and then he started to sink and he forgot that he could swim. So we have to do our part and remember what part we play and all that stuff. So I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that I had left out. What looks like is out of control is actually being controlled. And when God puts you in a situation, it's to show you how to respond to contrary winds. So he wants you to focus, let go of some stuff and some people, and trust God. So you've got to focus, you've got to know what to let go of and what to hold on to. And if you're not sure, try to remember God's not a God of confusion. So if there's confusion in a situation or a relationship or something, that's probably something that needs to go away, or at least be maybe changed. You maybe can't let go of a relationship if it's with a family member, for instance, but you don't have to allow them to call you 15 times a day or whatever it is. You know, you can put some boundaries out there. So whatever that looks like, but ask God and he will tell you what you need to do with each thing that whether you need to let go or continue. Sometimes it's just with volunteer work or what we're doing. They're good things, but sometimes they're more than what you should be doing, because Satan will even use good things to distract us from God's purpose for our life. So just talk to God and he will tell you. He will make it very clear. But he said, you have a miracle waiting, but you have to get through this to get to that. So the disciples were in the ship, right? And they were going across the Sea of Galilee, and God told them to go to the other side. But they had to get through that storm to get to the other side, right? And sometimes we're in a storm, and we have to get through that to get to the next thing. So whatever test you're in right now, or whatever turmoil, just remember it's not forever. There is light at the end of the tunnel. The storm is going to stop, and you are going to get to the other side. Especially if you know God's called you to something. You know, I've been feeling so really sorry for myself, I guess, but so sad, so lonely, so poor me, you know, and it's hard. This whole move and this whole trying to make friends thing, it's hard. But I know God called me here. I know that he has a reason. I know that he has a plan. And so I just have to keep looking every day as I wake up. I've got air in my lungs only by the grace of God. He woke me up another day. He has something for me to do. And so I just keep trying to push towards that mark and go, what is it, God? What is it today? What am I doing to get closer to the thing you've called me to? And he keeps telling me, so that's good. But you will learn by the intensity of the attack, the authenticity of the call. So if it is an intense attack, like I'm going through an intense attack, it just authenticates the call, because Satan is only going to attack if it's serious, if he's feeling threatened. So take comfort in that. Reminds me of Paul and Silas singing in the prison, right? So good. But if you're worthy to be attacked, you're worthy to be effective, because Satan doesn't attack people that aren't worthy of being effective. And we don't have time to be stuck in a pity party. So can't be doing that. And I'm guilty. But I wrote down a whole page of notes I was writing about all that I was going through personally and what I was feeling and some different things. And as I was writing, I was writing down all these questions to God, and I was just like, why this and why that and how come and what do you want? And as I'm writing all these questions down, I hear my email ding. You know, ding, you have an email. And it pops up on my phone, you know, the little notification or whatever, and it's from OCJ Kids. One of the questions I had specifically written is, what do you want me here for? I had felt like, you know, when I first got called to come here, and I told him, you wouldn't send me here without a ministry, and right then on the radio, OCJ Kids was, you know, being interviewed right there. Gary was on the radio. And so I felt like that was what he was calling me here for. But then, like, you know, we just didn't mesh, and they're going, well, let's just keep in touch, because obviously God's doing something, but we don't know what, so we'll just keep praying. And then Arise happened with East West, right? And I felt like that's the way I should go, and that God was moving in that. And then my pastor, I love you, Pastor, he was like, but I thought you said you were called here for this, so what is this? And I was like, I don't know. But I did feel like that, but now I feel like this. But I knew God had a plan. And even the VP of Arise said to me, Jennifer, I need to know that you're 100% in on this, because I know you have a heart for the foster care ministry, and I need to know that you're 100% in with this evangelism. And I've always been called to missionary work. I've always been called to evangelism. And so I did tell her, well, I think I've told you that, I might not have yet, because I'm not there yet, but I'm going to, spoiler alert, give you a spoiler alert. When I was praying about, do I, you know, she's telling me I need to be 100% in, and I went to church Sunday and I said, okay, God, I need to hear from you. Is this what you're telling me? Because I don't know what we're doing with OCJ over here, but is this what you're telling me? I need to hear from you today, please. I think I said please. Pastor opened the Bible that morning at church. I don't think he said anything. He didn't say anything. Sometimes he'll give a welcome, or he'll go up still singing the song that the choir was singing, or he'll make an announcement, or I don't know, different things. Start out with a joke sometimes, and he is funny. But this particular day, he did a TD Jakes, because TD Jakes does this a lot. He just steps out on the stage and opens the Bible and starts to read. And that's what he did that Sunday. And he was in the book of Joshua. And he said, you guys, I can't make this stuff up, you know, arise and go. The name of the movement is Arise, and they go out into the streets and preach the gospel. They go worldwide to the unreached people groups and preach the gospel. I don't know where that came from, the gospel. And he was telling me to go. And so when he read those words, arise and go, right after I had just prayed, God, I need to hear from you, I was just like, oh my goodness, okay, I hear you again. Thank you, God. So I told Julie, yes, I'm 100% in. She said, I don't know how these are going to connect. Like, I don't see an intersection with the two ministries. And I said, God's telling me to go. So I did that. So when I did that, now I'm going to kind of give you another spoiler alert, but that was in July, end of July, like the 30th, I think, 25th of July of 22. Since this is on YouTube, not everybody's going to be watching it in the same year. Fast forward 6 months to January of 23, and I have asked Tammy, the co-founder of OCJ Kids, if I could meet with someone about doing a Bible study with the kids that are aging out. They have already a mentorship program in place, so they're already meeting with these kids. I call them kids. They're a lot younger than me, but they're 17 to 22, so they are actually young adults. The suicide rate amongst that group that ages out of the foster care system is 70%. 70%. And I tell you that to tell you this. My church at Pilgrim Rest has a heart for preventing suicide. Suicide rates are high among minorities. That's a huge focus for our church. Couple that with OCJ Kids, foster care ministry, which has my heart, and the suicide rate is 70%. And then couple that with Arise, who trains and equips women to share their testimony in the streets. If I can get another woman or several women from my church to join me, and I can train and equip them to share with these young adults that are aging out, and help train and equip them, and take everybody out to the streets of Phoenix and share our stories, pray with people, bring hope, give the plan of salvation, and just grow the kingdom, right? The harvest is plentiful. And so the laborers are few, and we would be building up laborers. So that is my vision, that is my goal. I have been hired, I'll give you another spoiler alert. I have been hired by East West Ministries under the Arise movement. East West does lots of different things, but this is the women's movement to train and equip women to share the gospel. And so I am the city leader of Phoenix. It is completely supporter funded, so it's a God ask. It's God providing the money to help me to do it. In order to get the kids to come, I called them kids, and I apologize, they are young adults, but in order to get them to come, we're probably going to have to entice them with free pizza, maybe, and maybe a gift card to Walmart for everybody that stays through the Bible study. Get a $10 gift card. And that's going to take money, so I need to get my support raised so that I can afford to do that. But that is my goal, is to feed them and love on them, and maybe even go do some fun things. Maybe we'll go bowling or skating or go help in a community garden or something. I don't know, but the goal would be to get them involved in the community as well, and to know that people love and care for them, so that they have a network of people that they can count on when they just are having a bad day and need to talk to somebody or whatever. I mean, they'll have their mentor from OCJ, but it'd be nice to have more than one person, right, to make some actual friends. And we have a young adults group at church. It'd be great to get them plugged in, but not necessarily even at our church. Not everybody's going to live near, because OCJ is way north, so they might need to be at a church closer to where they live, and that's okay. We can get them plugged in wherever they're at. But that's the idea. So that's kind of the vision. Sorry, I got a little off topic there. But that is what I'm trying to do. And I've only got 2 minutes left, so I'm going to completely wait on this other until next time. But I would ask you to type on the line 70%. If you are not just listening to this, but you are at your phone or at your computer where you can actually type in the comments, just type 70%, because that is the number of suicides that happen amongst foster kids aging out of the system nationwide. And that is a huge number, and I want you to remember it and pray about it, because we got to do something. God tells us to take care of the orphans and the widows, and we got to take that serious. So I am going to sign off with that and meet you next time to go over Faithful Wounds Part 2 of T.D. Jakes. Remember, my Faithful Wounds Part 1 was really 2 parts on mine, but this is Faithful Wounds Part 2 from T.D. Jakes. So it's going to be over the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verses 1 through 9. I always recommend, if we're going to go over John 15, please read John chapter 14, or open your YouVersion app and listen to it. Just listen to John chapter 14 and 15, and that will help get you ready as you prepare for Monday's episode 81. All right, thanks guys, bye-bye.